For me, I became way more human, like instead of being a dancer. I would take a minute and stop, and then instead of doing like flowy movements and like how my body felt, it was very like how the surroundings affect you, which is what happens in day-to-day life. So I wasn't really dancing as much as doing stuff because things affected me.
I felt like I think I was still doing a lot about how I usually do. Like I was not going very crazy about something new or something. Like I think I was not doing that kind of a thing still in all the locations how I would usually. But then it was really nice to feel also that exactly like the elements to affect, like the wind to affect and the sea to affect, and then I just like there was moments when I just let things to happen more and I didn't decide now, oh I'm gonna do now this, but I was just not doing anything and then something just let like I was not in control of it. And then it happened. So those were very nice moments, I think.
I think like you cannot be afraid of like letting it take time, because for me it felt like you said, you needed to stop for a moment and just like really feel, and I think this was because I feel like for me it didn't came so much movement, but it was more about the feeling and sensation that come from like inside, and it was not so external, it was more like internal, but it makes the whole thing more organic and real. For me it like to go to not do my my favorite things and what I usually do when we have improvisation in studio, it took more time for me, and the result was maybe smaller but more true.
I also want to add that it felt now like a whole journey, like that when you get to the location, the first reaction like what is here, like really like ooh, and then getting more into it, and then just like, and I felt like I could be there a long time, and always came something new. Instead of when we are in a studio, it doesn't like start like like ooh new place, but it goes more like the same, and then there might come a moment when I'm like I can't do it anymore or something, and then get back. But now it felt like I wanted to be in it like all the time, and it felt like sometimes go very small with the things and just like feel and listen something, and then get more moving again. And I feel like I could be a long time doing that without getting tired of it.
I think that's kind of because like we don't have to do anything, like we don't actually have to dance or feel a pressure for it to look anyway, because that's not what we're doing, and I think it's easier to get into like a kind of flow mind where you just really listen to like what's around you.
Yeah.
That kind of is what happened, really, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I think, if we started in the studio, I think it would have been really different.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm also
So different.
I think this prop scenario wouldn't maybe have happened.
No, I don't think so either. It
That's
really made everything
cool.
much more creative to be outside and be first outside.
Yeah.
And I even if I felt like I did a lot of things that I usually do, I still felt that I felt like very inspired and more open to other things. I think if I would be in longer time in outside, maybe I don't know what would happen. I didn't feel like I didn't realize too much that I didn't feel like I'm being watched at all. But I felt like sometimes I saw like somebody, and if I happened to be behind a tree or a chair, I felt like I was spying. They also like brought something extra to feel or bring something to my mind about childhood or something. It was fun that there happened things out of control that somebody went to do.
Yeah.
I didn't really like think about them that much, but I did think, like, when we first arrived, I was like, imagine being that person and then seeing, like there was a woman sitting on a bench and I was like,
Yeah, she was with her
imagine
cigarette
her
and
just
like,
looking at us. Yeah. Like she must be like, what? But I never thought about like interacting with any of them or like, you know.
Come and dance with me.
Or like just go sit next to them. Like, but even like the spying on them and stuff, like they didn't inspire me in any way. Like I wasn't. Yeah.
And it kind of feels like there was a wall. For me, I felt like there was a wall between them and me. Like I saw them, but they weren't really there.
Yeah. Or they were just there, you know?
Yeah, they were
like,
just there.
There was nothing.
like the trees or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't go to hug them like you
The trees are nice to talk.
There was like elements of danger.
Exactly.
I felt like I had to understand like, but it bring an adventurous feeling to it. It was like I can't fall from the rock to the wall, but I have to go like this. And it was a little bit limiting, but also fun at the same time. I didn't feel it like limiting. I know that it's like I can't now jump around, but it felt like, but I didn't mind it. Like it was fun.
I love this because for me it was kind of like a puzzle. What I said before, like where does my body fit? Does it fit here and not? Because sometimes I found like a rock where it was very comfortable for me, like it didn't hurt or anything. And then I just moved on, and they was like, "Oh, this puzzle, this didn't work." Like, and then I changed, and it worked. Yeah, I liked it.
It was a good way of not doing, well, like movement you usually do, especially because it was the first one we did, and always when someone tells me to start moving, I probably do like the same thing, but like I couldn't, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good that way.
Oh, I want to add, because sometimes I was upside down with my head, and I saw like everything upside down, and it was beautiful. Like I was watching the two of them dance upside down, and because so it kind of like happened that I got pictures, kind of like a painting. Also, it was very nice.
That's exactly like what I'm also thinking then, that it's so nice to do this kind of a thing, because then you end up doing that kind of like being upside down in a chair, but in normal life you are never doing that.
Yeah.
But then you think, why not? Why am I never upside down? Then it's really fun to see things upside down. So I think it would be good to do every now and then for everybody. So then you remind yourself that actually you can do whatever you want in life. If you want, you can sit like that and put things upside down, and it shouldn't be a weird thing to do or something.
Yeah, I agree with that. It does remind you that like you don't have to do everything normal, you know. And that happened to me as well. I was on a tree, or I was hugging the tree, and then I like leant back from the tree, and it was so beautiful because I just saw all of the other trees, like the top of them, just like connecting, and it was like I was surrounded by like the top half of trees. It was so cool, and I would not have seen that if like we didn't do this, you know.
I think that in life, in the normal days, we have so much like this kind of a choreography we follow. Like we have to walk this road, not in the grass, and we have to sit down in a chair, not hang upside down. But then when we do it like all in the wrong way and the fun way, then I feel so happy afterwards. And like now, I feel much more creative, and I feel like inspired of things.